My name is Sick. Welcome back to ArmA 3 and the follow along series on the new Vietnam map. So today I figured I would continue on making some more objectives, make sure that they function, and once we know that they function we can do some other things. But I think it's important to make sure that all of our objectives work before we do anything else, because there's a lot of time that you can spend fine-tuning things and dressing up the map and things like that, making sure it flows well. But all that effort could be for nothing if you cannot make sure that your objectives actually tick off properly and that the mission can finish. Now, luckily for us, this mission was not or is not designed to be particularly hard or anything like that. So we're just going to clear out an LZ, land, of course. So land, clear out the LZ. We were going to have another objective over here that we were going to clear out. There was going to be an objective over here, which is basically to just clear out the enemy, take control of it. And then later on we would do this massive attack over here, which again essentially would be just to clear out this area. So all of those are actually very, very simple and basically the same as what we've already established over here. We have this trigger called Objective 1, Objective 1A. We're just going to repeat that same little process with a trigger of a certain size. We are going to have to open that up and increase the size a little bit, not quite to 500 or anything. I guess I accidentally made it 110, so we can do that. It doesn't really matter. We're going to call this one OBJ2, and activation is going to be up for not present. And then later on we can see actually on activation we can have what were these guys called again? HQ and SL1. Right, so SL1 is going to do the first message. SL1 side chat objective 2 secured. I'm not sure what we call the squad again, but basically this will be enough for now. I can always change that later on into something a little bit more interesting. And of course we can add triggers on top of this to have HQ respond, SLS respond to that, etc, etc. So nothing really that crazy. And of course we can also copy this with Ctrl+C, paste it over there, open it up, call this object 3 or objective 3. Place that one over here, and then we will need one final one that is much bigger, of course, so the 500 square meter one. And this is going to be OBJ4. Activation up for not present, SL1 side chat, objective 4 secured. Alright, so of course we don't want all of these to trigger immediately, so we are going to have to place some troops here. Well, we had Viet Cong. We'll have VC main force. We can just put down an officer over here for now. We'll put a machine gunner over here for now. We're not going to fine tune any of this, but I just want there to be one, so these objectives don't trigger immediately. And of course we are going to go back to systems. We are going to go to Intel. We are going to do create task right there. And we can leave that one in the center. We can call this objective 2. In the init we're not going to put anything. The owner of this is going to be Blue4 because it's easy. And we can say OBJ2. I think these can all be the same, that shouldn't really matter. Secure. What is this? It's not really a checkpoint, it's well, I guess a crossroads. The crossroads. All right, the destination of this will be the module position. The state will be created. Description. Make sure no enemy troops can be found to your rear once you attack the base. Yeah, so that should be okay. And of course we are going to have to set a task state. We're going to set another task state. And that is about all we're going to do, except one of these task states is going to be succeeded. We will connect that to the create task module, and we will connect this one then again towards the trigger. And actually we can assign this one with this task state. We can have this assigned. Let's see, sync to this one. There we go. And we can connect this to one of the other triggers. So it's going to be an existing task, because we will know about it in advance. And we can actually change this as well. So you can actually trigger the creation of a task to a trigger. So it's not going to show up until you put it in the... Yeah, it's not going to show up until you meet the requirements that you want to be met in a mission. So entering a certain area, spotting an enemy in a certain area could trigger a secondary objective that you don't know about in advance. But all of these objectives we will know about in advance. So this objective 1, we will have objective 1A, we will sync it to that one. So as soon as this trigger gets triggered, after we get objective 1 cleared, the game is automatically going to assign objective 2. So that is pretty easy. And also that reminds me, we did have a problem once we did a preview of the game with the module location. And actually, I think that's because we have the create task thing here and it says module position. And I guess we can put that towards a synchronized object. And that might fix the problem. Actually, I'm going to save it and we're just going to have a very quick preview. Nope.
400 meters north.
Still there. Interesting. So I'm not sure what's going on there, but this one actually isn't all that necessary. So we can actually just open up this one. The destination will be module position, and I think without that it's going to work out well. This is just going to be assigned. This is the assigned. Yes, just by default it's going to be assigned. This one trigger to that, to the other one. Quick check.
400 meters
Yes.
north.
Alright, so there's something weird going on with the set task destination trigger. But without it, and this module, or the create task module, reset to module position, it's not going to be any kind of problem. Alright, so we are going to do the same thing again over here. We're going to create a task. And this is going to be obj or objective 3. Objective 3. Objective 3. The owner again is going to be blue4. The title is going to be clear out checkpoint. Take out this checkpoint. Another squad. And this is what I want to do, is I want to put a squad in position here to hold the checkpoint. Hold the checkpoint. So another squad will arrive to hold the checkpoint and prevent hostile vehicles from approaching in this direction. Alright, so again, pretty basic. We will have a set task state, we will have another set task state. One of these is going to be assigned, one of these is going to be succeeded, and this one is going to succeed. First of all, let's sync these. Come on. Open up that. Okay, there we go. That's weird. Sync to this trigger. Now, one thing I might want to do here is actually add in another trigger over here. Objective 2, so this will be objective obj2a. Condition will be trigger activated obj2 with a delay in time of, let's say, about 5 seconds. And we can have a conversation there, but for now, what I really want to do is I want to sync this to the assigned set task state module. So every time that we finish off one objective, it's going to automatically assign the next objective, right? So that's pretty easy. And then similarly, we're going to put down another trigger, and this will be obj3a. And in condition, we will set trigger activated obj3 with a 5-second delay. And then finally, of course, once we get over to systems again, we can go back into Intel, create a task, put it right there in the objective, or in the crossroads, I mean, owner, blue4, task ID, obj4, obj4, title, take the VC and base. Destination will be module position, and of course, variable name, objective 4, description, take out the main VC base in this area. Alright, and then of course, as before, pretty easy, we're going to have 2 set task states. This one is going to be assigned, that one is going to be succeeded. Sync these up. This one is going to get synced to this trigger right there, because this is the succeeded one. And then this task state is going to get linked up to this trigger right there. All right, so we've got all of our objectives set up, and of course we need to have a trigger that checks for all of their completion, on the completion of all of these, and for us to then end the mission. So we're going to have trigger without a radius, and we're just going to place it anywhere, but I'm going to put it right there. We're going to open it up. We're going to call that mission end, or actually we can call it end 1. The condition for that is going to be trigger activated obj1 and trigger activated obj2 and trigger activated obj3 and trigger activated obj4. And then I don't remember the activation line, so I'm just going to have to quickly Google that, and I'll be right back. Alright, I found it. It's been ages since I had to write it or use it. So, but on activation, we're going to paste this. End 1, and this refers to like a specific ending cinematic, I think. Call bis fnc for function and mission. And yeah, we can put a delay on this actually, and I think that's probably a wise idea. We'll put a delay of 10 seconds for now, because we are going to have, well, we're going to want to adjust this later on, because once we take the final objective, we are going to, of course, have some kind of conversation happening with headquarters and stuff like that. So we want to be able to make sure that that conversation happens before this ends. And actually we might want to not even put in a delay, but change this to objective 4A or B or C, however many, whatever amount of triggers we will have here, so that this is only going to trigger once the final trigger of the final objective has activated. But with that done, we basically have a working mission. We land, we take objective 1, we take objective 2, right? Then we take objective 3, we take objective 4, and once all of these objectives are taken, the mission will end. Now we could check that, but I don't think it's absolutely necessary. One thing we do still need to do is we need to put some markers, I think. Let's see, create task, what was this called again? Crossroads. Right, so markers. Pretty basic. We have this area over here. Let's see, we have objective markers. So we could place one down over here. Actually, we already have mark LZ over here. Well, we don't necessarily want to keep that one. We can make this one mark LZ as well. That's just a variable name, and we can give it a different text to actually show up, because mark LZ will not show up. But if we put down a text, we can say secure the LZ. And the color can be any color that you want. And alpha is the opacity, so if we set this to 0, the marker will actually be invisible. I don't think it's going to be invisible right before the mission starts, however. So in the briefing it should still be visible. But at any rate, this is one that we want to be visible anyway. We're going to put down another objective over here called Crossroads, and of course the text should also say Crossroads. It will be a red. Another thing that we can do is actually turn the color of these markers into a different color. So we can use them as in the red color to signify that we still need to take them, and once they are taken we can actually change the color into green, and I think that's what we're going to do. But for now, let's put down another objective marker. This will be roadblock. And then finally, well, it already has a name, but we're going to put down an objective marker anyway in the center there. Base, PC base, color red. All right. So now, if we go into preview mode, let's see, play an SP with briefing. We should have several tasks. And it starts with secure the LZ. It is automatically assigned, so that is good. Secure the crossroads. Clear out the checkpoint. Take the VC base. Right. We don't have a briefing, however. And that is actually something pretty easily rectifiable. But everything works as expected. We have our get out objective, we have our objective, that actually is not an objective, it's the waypoint. We have our objective out by the village. We have the other ones, they're all unassigned, of course, because you can only have one assigned at any given time.
2, engage that northwest.
Going to be fun.
Mark!
200 meters, right up ahead!
3, fire at that front!
They kind of know what it is, aren't they?
Fire at the men, front!
Losses, 200 meters, just up ahead!
Fire at that goal, northwest!
Kind of funny to see them rolling around as well with the AI mod. Anyway, I couldn't help myself there. I just had to do some shooting. It's just fun. Anyway, it does remind me that for now the player is actually invincible. That is something that needs to change. Actually, where did the helicopter go? There we are. So for now we are called player, and I think when we open ourselves up, Disallow damage false. Actually, we could give myself a name and call myself player 1. And we can actually do various things. We could use the get out waypoint, I think, if we open up that, to do on activation, player 1, allow damage. Actually, this is with 2 M's. True. So as soon as this thing gets triggered, we are allowed to take damage. Now, actually, I'm not sure if this activates as soon as it's done, as soon as everyone is out, essentially, or if it's the next waypoint and then it gets activated. So this might not be the best idea. What we can do instead is we can put in a trigger with a certain height, so it doesn't trigger immediately. Of course, it is going to have to be bigger than this. We can say 25 by 25. But actually then you still don't really know. Let's make it a bit bigger. Alright, so the player is definitely going to land in one of these areas. What we're going to do is we're going to open this up. We're going to call this damage. The activation is going to be blue for presence. And we could even make this more specific by checking for player 1 specifically. We don't really need to. But if you would want to do something like that, we could do player 1 in this list. So that would make sure that even though other blue 4 troops enter this trigger, it's not going to get triggered. It's only get triggered if a blue 4 unit called player 1 enters this trigger area. And then on activation, player allowed damage true. Variable name, okay. Damage 1. All right. Yeah. All right. So that refers to some kind of command, I guess. And it doesn't accept just damage as a name. But that will be quite helpful. Now, if we want to do a briefing, we would go to Intel. We could do diary record. And actually, that's the only kind of thing that we have, it seems. So create diary record. We can put this anywhere. We could put it next to the trigger that ends the mission so that we remember that these triggers refer to the mission, overall mission, I guess. So create diary record, and all of this is pretty basic. We would do all playable units. Apparently we don't allow blue 4 and things like that in here. This is interesting. You can give it a variable name. You have preset titles as situation, mission, execution, and signal. So technically you would want all 4 of these. You can give it a title. So you can actually have situation and then divide it up into different subgroups, I think. So if you have a situation, and you can see friendly forces, friendly force description. Well, I'm going to change that later. That's a big typo. We can copy this, paste it, and we can change this to say up for description. And then both of these should show up under situation. And what you can also do is, we can paste another one. Open this up. We will set this to a mission. Mission layout, I guess. What you have to do. We're going to change all that later, of course, but this is just very basic. We can paste another one. Execution. I don't think this one is necessary because it's a very basic mission, but we can do signal. Troop signals. And for example, squad 1 equals Viper or something. You know, I don't. This is a shitty name, I guess, for American troops, but that's essentially what you could do with that. And then add squad leader is Papa, or HQ is Papa Bear, and so on. And if we play this with a briefing, we will have the, let's see, troop signals, mission layout, op for friendly forces. So this is actually also the order in which they appear. So the thing that you put down first is going to be at the bottom. So that might not actually be the best way to do this if you want to start with that. Troop signals, mission layout, op for. Actually, these are all on the briefing, so never mind what I said. That's kind of interesting. I thought this would be further would have further tabs basically, but they don't. So never mind that. Right, so take into account that the order in which these are created is the order in which these show up. So this one actually will show up at the top. Then this is going to be second, third, fourth. So it's a bit confusing. I don't know why that is. It doesn't have anything to do with that, I think. It doesn't even have to do a preset title. This replaces that, I guess. Right. So you could ignore the title and just use this, and then you would have signal, etc., etc., etc. Anyway, that's it for this video, I think, because we've been working on this for a little bit. I am going to change some things in my free time, so I'm going to maybe add some extra patrols. I was thinking that I might put like some troops around the tree line, or another patrol over here that can take cover in the tree line. Of course, we are going to have to put some troops over here in patrol. We're going to have to put some troops over there, put some troops around the base, but that's all stuff I'm going to be doing in my free time. But for now, please do leave a like and a comment below if you enjoyed this content and wish to see more, and I will see you guys for the video I do next.